Meren of Toth versus Freyalise. I've just been having a lot of trouble getting OBS to see Magic Online for some reason. I threw my toys out of the pram and just started playing while sat in my desk here waiting for everything to restart and do the things that computers love to do. I've just been playing Mario Kart on the Switch that I bought on sale the other day. Got them in Tomb 4, Life from the Loam. Yeah, really liking that. I got it for £25 off the eShop. And loving the Switch as well. Where is Life from the Loam? Under L, I imagine. Life from the Loam. Jeez, I thought for a second I didn't have Life from the Loam in the deck. Yeah, really liking Mario Kart. I just downloaded a game called The Messenger as well, which is like a Ninja Gaiden type game. If people have been playing games for a long time, mana dorks for days from our opponent. That will be a Freyalise next turn. Yeah, if anyone's into old school NES style games, we'll get the Life from the Loam back from the graveyard. Then I recommend The Messenger. That's it's sort of a Metroidvania-y type game. Cast Life from the Loam and get these two lands back. Yeah, really liking it, but I should take with a grain of salt because I'm quite biased. I really like Metroidvania games. My favourite game of 2017 when it came out on the PC was Hollow Knight, and I love that game so much that I bought it again for the Switch. Just a superb game. Gonna mill some more cards with Life from the Loam there, and I think we'll go with an Overgrown Tomb. And we'll play it out tapped. We can go for Meren next turn, but for right now, I think we'll just go for Life from the Loam again and get some more cards in hand. And then probably just discard down again. Our Coffers is useless to us, to be honest. And we don't need the Wooded Foothills either. But yeah, as for this game, we are against Freyalise. Freyalise is one of the commanders, planeswalkers that can be your commander. I don't think much of her personally. She's alright in the 99. It's nice that she is a disenchant on a stick. And she spits out mana dorks, and it looks like our opponent's going to be able to get the limit break off there, so that's really good as well. Unless we can, I think Decree of Pain won't actually be a terrible cycle now. No, I want to get a new card, so we won't dredge with Life from the Loam. Yeah, I think Decree of Pain here isn't awful. It won't slow down our opponents that much. In fact, I think it will slow them. What I mean is it won't grind them to an absolute halt. It'll keep them in the game, but with only one card in hand. But they do have the Planeswalker out. They'll have 4 lands in play, plus mana dorks on tap. Okay, but our opponent is still deciding to quit immediately. That's a really, really bad quit, I think. I don't see why they would do that. They've got plenty of time to get more mana dorks out, draw into more cards with Freyalise. Yeah, shame on our opponent for doing that. Shame on them. Nekusar, the Mindrazer, versus the Scarab God. And Mana Rocks in hand with a couple of lands is perfectly keepable. If we go... yeah, we're going for the tap land. Actually, I think we can get down a couple of signets here. If we go for the basic. Yeah, so if we go in for Swamp, yep, we can get 2 lands off the Signet. And then pass over to our opponent, and that will be Grixis mana. And we can go in for Nekusar. hell of a fast start, and then we can go in for Sigil of Sleep. And we can start bouncing our opponent's stuff. This is Enchanter Creature. Whenever the enchanted creature deals damage to a player, return target creature card that player controls to its owner's hand. And we managed to draw into another land, so why don't we just go and put black into the Dimir Signet. And then we go into Nekusar and we'll get down the tap land and pass straight over to our opponent. And we get the Nekusar triggers on the stack. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card, and then whenever they do draw a card, they are dealt 1 damage. They are the 2 abilities on Nekusar. It costs 5 in Grixis, and it's a 2/4 zombie wizard. And as for our opponent's commander, the Scarab God, at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. When it dies, it returns to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. And then for 4 mana, exile a target creature from a graveyard. You create a token copy of it, except it is a 4/4 black zombie. And we lose the flip on that, but we do get to draw an additional card with Nekusar. And we only have access to 1 blue. So why don't we just go into that and try and make it so that it's difficult for our opponent to keep any creatures in play. And then there's nothing for us to hold mana up for, apart from the Mystic Tutor. Or is it Mystical? No, it is Mystical Tutor. And we can't hold up mana for that because we don't have any blue. So we'll just see what our opponent does, see if they can get into anything with all this card draw. They have a full grip of 9 in hand. This thing is Font of Fortunes. For 2 mana and sacrifice, they get to draw 2 cards. They will take the damage from that if they decide to go that way. And this thing is 5 mana and tap, and sacrifice it. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. Oh, and this thing they're going to easily get quest counters on, as long as it has 6 or more quest counters on it. If you would draw a card, you may instead search your library for a card and put it into your hand. And yeah, it does need 6 counters on it, so that's going to be 6 turns away, and we'll have to start worrying about it. Okay, Day's Undoing, I think, ends the turn once we cast it. Yeah, we'll have to go for that. Might as well play the land, because we're not going to be able to play any other lands that we draw into. And that each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library and draws 7 cards. And then if it's my turn, then the turn ends, which of course it was. But we dealt a lot of damage to them there, because they did draw 7. In fact, did we deal the damage? Well, I can't tell now, but at least we got into our blue mana. A couple of blue sources there. We also have Force of Will, if we decide that we want to do that. Frantic Search will that draw them cards? Yep, draw 2 cards. So they will be dealt some more damage there. And I'm assuming that they drew into some lands, because they have 10 cards in hand. And we did just wheel, so that should do what they need it to. And this thing will get a quest counter on it. Problem with this thing is that if they manage to draw the game out for any length of time, us giving them so much card draw puts a counter on it every time. And they'll be able to just start searching their library for cards and dealing with whatever it is that we throw at them. Alright, going for Silmgar's Monument. That is 6/2 animate, turns into a 4/4 Dimir Dragon with flying. It also taps for mana. I don't think they've played a land this turn. Very surprised that they don't have a land to play. Okay, and we get into our turn. I think this turn we go... Well, we definitely go for a blue source. So why don't we'll just shock this in. We can't hold up Counterspell, but we can Brainstorm if we want to. Oh, we could hold up Counterspell. It'd just be a funny way of doing it. I think we'll go for the Font of Mythos. Seeing as how they seem to be struggling on land drops, we've got a pretty unfair advantage over them currently. But I think we'll swing in and just leave it at that. I'd like to get the Underworld Dreams down. But I think instead... actually, now I think about it, we could go for Underworld Dreams. It just means that instead of holding up Counterspell, we hold up Force of Will instead. And I think we'll go for Brainstorm with that blue mana. And then we can throw a couple of lands on the top and shuffle them away with a fetch, which is exactly what we'll do here. So we'll draw into Badlands. Oh, we'll draw into both of those next turn, actually, thanks to Nekusar and Font of Mythos. And Underworld Dreams, of course, does exactly what Nekusar does with regards to dealing damage whenever our opponent draws a card. And Font of Mythos, let's go over both of these. Font of Mythos is 4 mana. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws 2 additional cards. And then Underworld Dreams is 3 black mana for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. So we currently have both Nekusar and Underworld Dreams dealing damage to our opponent. And they only have 10 life now. And we have a means of making them draw next turn. So we should be able to go for the win with Time Spiral. And Fate Unraveler is 4 mana for a 3/4. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. But if we force them to draw into 7 cards, then these 2 permanents should deal them 14 damage in total. So I think the game is ours now. Okay, in that case we'll go... I'll just grab a blue source just in case, but I think we've got it here. Right, so let's tap these signets first. And we're going to go for Time Spiral, which means we need another blue source there, and then this will force them to draw 7 cards, and then we untap up to 6 lands. And there we go, triggers are on the stack. And we just untap those 2, and our opponent sees that. And yeah, we would have done 14 damage to them there, because our opponent drew 7 cards, and Underworld Dreams does 7 damage to them, and so does Nekusar in that case. That was a really fast win for Nekusar. It's yet another reason why Mana Crypt should probably be banned, because that hand wouldn't have been anywhere near as good had it not have been for Mana Crypt. But it does show a little bit of what Nekusar can do, but it also shows what the fast mana can allow you to do as well. So, hope you enjoyed that. This will probably be a little bit of bonus content for Nekusar, because it wasn't really a fair game. But anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.